Welcome in, everyone. My name is Tori, again back with episode 11 of Regenerating Degenerations. Tonight's episode, I believe building houses is a great name for it. I'm going to start it a little different than normal. Being episode 11, I've been doing this a while, and I've never really kind of given the breakdown of what I've done with my life and why I think I can help people through my experiences and stuff like that. And so tonight I'm just going to give a little bit of insight on who I am and what I've done with my life and why I just want everyone else to live better, because I know what it was like when I wasn't living a good life and wasn't ambitious and didn't try to forward think on my life. Believe it or not, 9 years ago to the date, I was homeless for quite some time. I was in and out of rehabs till I was 25 years old. I have been to jail 3 times, and just, everyone does things in their life and has to grow from them, and some people learn the hard way, and I was just one of the people that ended up learning the hard way. And I truly think that if people are looking out for each other and people are trying to do the right thing for each other, then hopefully we can help some other people maybe not learn quite as hard of a way as that we've learned. And I do believe that it's through our experiences that we're supposed to give back to each other, and that it is through the stuff that we do with each other that, makes us stronger. And so my experiences definitely weren't very positive for a big part of my life, and that's okay. But the bad days let you know what the good days are about. And that's that, I decided to get into pills and drinking heavily, especially when I was in the military. I was doing a lot more of the drinking and smoking spice and doing prescription pills and things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And then outside of the military, I was good for a couple years, and then not even a couple years, probably 2 years total. And then when my father passed away, I went back into it pretty heavily. Went to jail a couple times that time, and ended up having to leave kind of the environment I was in and go to a completely new environment where I didn't know anyone, where I didn't know anything about anyone was going to happen to me or what was going on. Like, I had to completely uproot from where I was at and jump to the next thing. Which I went to a rehabilitation center at Calvary Ranch in San Diego, California, and that was in 2015. I checked myself in. Actually, my mom drove me there, and I checked myself in on my son's birthday that year on July 2nd, 2015. And that was the last time I was ever homeless. That was the last time I let life get the better of me and take myself out of life. And that was the last time I let the world kind of beat me up in a really big way. Don't get me wrong, I take my beatings to this day, and there's lots of times I'm upset or frustrated or feeling like I'm not in the right place at the right time, or that I've messed up so much that everything else is just doing laps around me while I'm still trying to get my head above water. And that's okay, because that's just life, and some things are a symptom of the life that I've produced for myself. And I do believe that a lot of the stuff that I go through is normal for people that have done what I've done with their lives. But I also believe that I have been very lucky and blessed, and very blessed is probably the best word for it. There's a lot of people that have lived the same lives that I've lived and do not have the same benefits in their life that I currently have. And so I do see that as like kind of a God thing. But at the same time, because I have that in my life, I do feel like I should try to do something just to help other people that are in my same situation, which is the whole point of me starting the podcast of Regenerating Degenerations. It's to regenerate all you degenerates out there and to try to help people be better people. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me and why I'm on here and talking about my stuff and doing my thing. My first bullet point tonight, and it goes kind of with what I've gone through, is Do you believe what you're putting into your day is bringing you to where you want to be? Because there's so many times that you think that you're not doing any harm in your day-to-day, but you just making a pass on your day, or you just deciding not to do something with that day, or anything of that nature, you can be infringing on yourself and you don't even know it. Or you know it and you're just taking the easy answer for that day. And we're all guilty of it, and we all do stuff like that. But there is something to be said for, if you're putting crap into it every single day, then that's all you're going to receive back from it, is that crap that you're putting into it. We often don't understand why we continue to not have anything happy in our day. But we need to remember that it's our job to generate the positive around us to get us where we need to be mentally. And that's really important, because if I'm going into my day with a piss poor attitude, then I can't expect my day to be anything other than that. If I go into my day just knowing it's going to suck, then I'm only going to notice the stuff that sucks. If I go into my day understanding that I might be starting off a little rough, but at the same time there's somewhere I can go with it, then you can at least look for the somewhere to go with it. Like, don't just sit here and focus on the stuff in your life that's only bringing you down. Focus on the stuff in your life that you think can change what's bringing you down. Like, if you only put negativity, then you can't expect anything other than that found in your day. What you put into your day is what you get out of it. If you do the same thing every day, then why are you expecting your day to be different than what you saw yesterday? And that's a huge point. There's so many people that just want something different, and they just want to go to the next level in their career. They want to do something better. They wanna. That's like the worst thing in the world, and the best thing at the same time, is to want something, right? Like, you can be so ambitious through wanting something, but are you going to let that want like actually keep you ambitious? Or are you going to forget about the things that you actually wanted once point in time? Like, I feel like so many people will get complacent or convince themselves that the stuff they want isn't the stuff that they need out of life, or the stuff that they're chasing in life isn't actually needed. Like, I didn't choose to do this with my life, but it was the most convenient at the time that made me the most money, but at the same time I'm miserable doing it. Like, there's so many things in our life that we can be said with that. Like, and I'm all about chasing different things in your life to try to make a positive portrayal of what you're doing in your day-to-day. Like, I'm a car salesman, but at the same time, I have all these paintings behind me because I started painting one day and I just decided that I wanted to sell my paintings. I have all this set up in my garage because I just decided that I wanted to set up a station that looked like somewhat studio-like for a podcast. Like, all these things, if you just want them and you don't do anything about it, then what is the point of wanting anything? We get stuck in our own cycles in our head of the things that we think are okay in our lives. And we get stuck in our own cycles in our head of just being complacent of where we're at. And you know, even if you are where you kind of pictured yourself in your life, don't you want to be the best version of yourself in that category of your life? It doesn't make sense to just get somewhere and then just cap out. Even if you're the best in your field, shouldn't you want to one-up yourself a little bit? If you set the record, don't you want to beat your own record? If you, like, no one goes into a job or no one goes into something in their life and says, I want to do the bare minimum. And if you're somewhere and you're doing that, then you're probably not in the right place for you, because you shouldn't want to just skate by in anything that you do. You should want to be the best of whatever you are trying to produce, right? Then my next point, it goes into the whole thing about building houses for us. And the concepts of houses is one of my favorite things on this planet, because every single person's life looks different, and every single person's house looks different. So we build our own houses with our own experiences in our lives. Each room is a different size and has different ceilings depending on what or how you went through an experience. Your room can be vaulted ceilings, can be somewhere I can stretch out in, and all this other stuff has a bunch of space in it because you've done a bunch of things in this specific category in your life. But then you go into the next room, and then all of a sudden the ceiling's low, and I have to crawl my way through the room, and I have to figure out how to even lay down or get comfortable or something like that because you decided to not address that category in life. And I think that if we were to share each other's experiences and just talk to one another and just be better about being a good neighbor to people, that some of those ceilings wouldn't have such a gap in it from person to person, because we can just talk about shared experiences and how just to help people understand from different perspectives. But at the same time, your house is your responsibility. And if every single one of your rooms you're on your hands and knees trying to get through in your house, then you need to do something about it, right? Like if you're in an uncomfortable spot and you're not trying 1,000,003 ways to get out of that uncomfortable spot, then whose fault is it really that you're in that uncomfortable spot? There's no one else responsible for your life but yourself. If you're staying in the same room every day and living within the experience that you already had, then you're not expanding your house and you're not growing. People do it all the time. We get complacent. We don't want to move once we find a place that we can get comfortable. And it's not okay. It's like I said before, even if you are in where you want to be, if you are not the best person there, then you have room to grow. And even if you set the record there, then you should want to break your own stuff. Like there's never one reason in the world that we should stop wanting to grow. And the day you stop wanting to grow, you should be really worried about yourself. Learning and growth come from encountering things that you haven't encountered before. You can't expect to stay comfortable and learn new things about the world. Every single thing that you actually learn only comes from an unopened door. There's nothing that you can be taught that isn't like a blank room for you, or else you would already know it and you can't get taught it, right? And so to do that, you have to be willing to put yourself in a situation where it opens yourself up for learning. If you're not willing to move forward with your life and you're not willing to learn new things on how to do things in your life, then you're just going to be comfortable and go based on what you know, and what you know got you right where you are. And if you're not happy where you are, why wouldn't you change that? And it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's what builds growth in people. You don't remember as many good times as you remember bad times, and that's because you learned from the bad times. And so your uncomfortability is what's actually going to spike probably the most growth in you out of anything you can do for yourself. You can fill these rooms with multiple environments as well. So it's up to us to fill these things with things that we want in life. Things that make you happy. Things that go towards your goals. Things that will benefit your mental stability. There's so many things that we can fill our rooms with. And once you fill the room, it's really hard to take something out and refill it in your head. It's extremely hard actually to take something out of your brain and to put something else in its place. And so why give it the shot of being something negative or something that's going to bring you down? Why talk yourself out of stuff? Why let stuff go till tomorrow? Why let things sit by the wayside? Why not just handle your life now, right? What type of house do you want to show your friends? Do you want it to look like a wreck or put together? Do you want them to have to crawl through your house with low ceilings, or do you want them to feel comfortable and free and be able to relax and stretch out? And that's huge, because the thing is how you run your life and how you look and how you treat other people and how your responses are to people and how you hold yourself, everything that has to do with you. People will sit there and not be around you because of what you are doing. People will sit there and judge you based on everything that is going on in your life. And honestly, it's okay, because we want to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And so people should hold me to a higher standard as well, right? I'm not saying be a judgmental jerk to people, But if someone doesn't have their stuff together, there's no reason that your life should be completely intertwined with theirs. Even if you're trying to help someone, if your life isn't put together, then what position are you in to help someone else with their life? It is crazy to me how many times you get people that don't have their shit together that are trying to help someone else get their shit together. Like, it doesn't make sense. And why would that person want to take your advice if you messed it up yourself just like they did? So then the second part of the house is your yard and your street. Your street is what people can see, the outside looking in concept. It is our jobs to maintain our streets and keep it clean. The nice part of the house that we built in ourselves is that none of our neighborhoods and none of our neighbors are permanent. It is our job to keep the right people around and to help us keep our sides of the street clean. No one wants to live in a torn down neighborhood, in a place where people aren't upkeeping the yard, in a place where it looks like they've boarded up all their windows. There's not one person in the world that was seeking that out at the beginning of their lives. And if you're trying to grow in your life, keeping people that have that viewpoint on their lives isn't going to help you grow. No one wants to be in a street full of problems, same as no one wants to stay in a friend group that isn't the right people. If you keep people around that are wrong, you can't be surprised if the right ones move. If I'm more worried about the wrong people around me and making sure they're happy, and I'm making bad decisions with them, I can't be surprised when the people that are making the right decisions don't want to be in my life anymore. It's normally really easy to see what the right choice is. And this is true. But it doesn't mean that choice is going to be any easier for you to make. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't make it. There's so many people that know what the right choice is, know what move they have to make, know what's going to motivate them to move forward in their life, know the path they're going to learn the most from, know what's going to be the better outcome. But at the same time, if you take the easier way, whether your life's okay or not, you just hurt yourself a little bit. Like, if all you're doing is taking an easy path and not motivating yourself and not trying to be something better than what you actually are, then you're hurting yourself. Your life is your responsibility, so it's up to you to go after whatever you pictured it as with success. But if you don't work every day to be the best at whatever it is that you're really going to continue, is it really success? Even if you've achieved it, if you're not trying to be better, are you really being successful still? You can be like the top person of where you're at, but if you're not setting new standards for yourself, are you really like doing anything different? And I feel like a lot of people do that with their lives. They'll feel like, well, I'm number one. But like, if you do the same thing every single time, and when you became number one, no one was competing with you, and you've done nothing to try to beat yourself out, yeah, on the outside looking in, you might be successful, but on the inside, you're coasting. You know? We have ourselves to look after in this life. And if you don't want to be the best, someone else will be the best, and they're more than happy to do it for you. And that's just the God's honest truth. If you're looking out here to try and just coast through life, that's fine. Because there's other people out there that are very ambitious, that are more than happy to leave what you're taking. They're more than happy to take what you're leaving on the table. And they won't even think twice about it. And they're not wrong for it either. Especially if you're just leaving it out there for it to be taken. Like, I think there's enough to go around, but at the same time, people aren't going to wait for you either. If you're going to be the right person for someone to actually be a part of their life and to actually like be in a friend group or even like a spouse or something like that, then you got to be someone that's motivating them along the ways to do what they want out of their life, and you got to expect them to want you to do certain level of success in your own life as well. Like, whether it's being a, great stay-at-home father, mother, whatever, and taking care of the children and making sure they're number one for everything in the world, that's cool. But it doesn't matter. You should match whatever level you are expecting out of people with your own level. Like, there's nothing worse than someone that has unreasonable expectations for people that they can't live up to themselves. And I'm okay with you having expectations and standards for your friends and all that, but at the same time, if you're not living up to your standards, you can't expect your friends to. And if you stop living up to those standards that all your friends are living up to, you can't expect those friends to stay around either. It's so massive that we're consistent with this, that we actually try to move forward, that we actually try to be the best we can be on our everyday basis, and not just completely coast and be where we are right now. It actually doesn't make sense to do that. And I'm fine if you're happy with your job and where you're at right now. But it's like I said, why wouldn't you still try to be the best of where you're at? Don't be complacent just because you're comfortable. Don't sit here and tell me there's nothing that you can do a little bit better. Don't sit here and tell me that there's nothing in your day that you wanted that you didn't get. Because there is. There's a million things in your life that you could be chasing right now that you decided not to chase. And if you actually chase them, there's a good chance you'd achieve it. If you actually went after your dreams and put your best foot forward and tried to be the best version of yourself every single day and take risks and do something that you're not used to doing, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations and making life happen around you, more than likely you will find a way to get to your success. And even then, the more you fail, the more ambitious you'd become to try to find your success. The whole thing is that you're not trying, and if you're not trying, you can't expect anything. But if you're trying and you get slapped in the face, then get back up and go do it again, because we're all rooting for you and we all want the best for you just like you want the best for us. And so everyone just needs to wake up, put their big boy pants on, and make life happen, because there's not one person out here that doubts that you can do it. You can do it. There's nothing on you that you need to fix, but there's a million things that we can all make better. So let's make them better together, and let's chase our dreams, and let's make life happen. I really appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. This has been episode 11 of Regenerating Degenerations, and I hope you all enjoy your evening.